Today we're going to look at Unit 5, Day 2, similar polygons. Similar polygons are polygons with the same shape, but not necessarily the same size. The symbol we use is kind of like the congruent symbol without the equals underneath it. It's just the squiggle part, and that tells us that we have similar shapes. So one's going to be small, one's going to be big, but the same shape. Okay? Two polygons will be similar if and only if their angles are congruent. So their angles all have to be exactly the same. Just like when we did congruent figures, they had congruent angles and congruent sides. With similar figures, our angles are still congruent, but our sides are different. Our sides are going to be proportional. Okay? And so when we say that the sides are proportional, and we want to kind of think about what that means, proportional sides mean, remember, proportions mean equal ratios, right? And a ratio, remember, is just a fancy word for fraction. So proportional means we're going to be having equal fractions for the sides. So let's look and see exactly how that's going to look. My first example says, is quadrilateral ABCD similar to quadrilateral JKLM? Okay, so the first thing we want to check is, are the corresponding angles congruent? So it's important that we know that they are corresponding angles are congruent. And I'm just going to use the symbol for congruent so I don't have to write it out. Okay, so let's check and see, are the corresponding angles congruent? So corresponding angles mean they're in the same place. So even though it looks like these are sitting the same, that doesn't mean that they always are. Okay, so you want to really use this information up here because order is important. So when I say corresponding, that means my first two letters should match. So angle A and angle J should match each other. Angle A should be congruent to angle J. And then my second two letters, B and K, angle B should be congruent to angle K. And then my third two letters, C and L, angle C should be congruent to angle L. And then my last two letters, D, should be congruent to angle M. Angle D is congruent to angle M. So let's just check our figure and make sure that that's true. Okay, so A should be congruent to J, so A is a right angle, J is a right angle, so that's true. B should be congruent to K, B has a single arc, K has a single arc, so that's true. C should be congruent to L, C has a double arc, L has a double arc, so that's true. D should be congruent to M, D has 3 arcs, M has 3 arcs, so they match as well. So my corresponding angles are congruent, so I can put a check mark there. Okay, the second thing we have to check is that the corresponding sides are proportional. So we're going to check, are the ratios equal when we compare the corresponding sides? So corresponding sides are proportional. So that's what we're going to check next. So when I go to check that my corresponding sides are proportional, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the matching sides. And again, I'm not going to look at my picture. I'm going to look at my order here because the order here is what's important. So I'm going to compare my first two letters, AB. I'm just going to write out my sides actually. My first two letters, AB. My second side are my second two letters, BC. And then my third side are my last two letters, CD. And then my fourth side are my outside letters, AD. So just like I did when I was doing congruent triangles. Okay? And then I want to compare that to the corresponding sides on the second one. So when I did AB, those were my first two letters. So that's going to compare to JK. And I'm going to make these into ratios or fractions. So AB is going to match with the first two letters JK. Okay? Then BC were my middle two letters, so those are going to match with my middle two letters, KL. And then CD were my last two letters, so that's going to match with LM. And AD were my outside letters, so that's going to match with JM. And I want to know, are all of these fractions all equal? Are these ratios all equal? If so, that means they are proportional. Okay, so let's check. AB is 8. JK is 14. BC is also 8. KL is also 14. So I know these two are for sure equal. CD is 8. And LM is 14. So those are also equal. AD is 12. So now we've got something different. And JM is 21. So I know the first three are for sure equal. But is the last one equal to the first three? To check that, we're just going to reduce all the fractions, right? So 8 and 14, those are both divisible by 2, so that's going to be 4/7. 4/7. That reduces to 4/7. And then let's see, 12 over 21, those are both divisible by 3, right? 3 goes into 12 4 times, and 3 goes into 21 7 times. So this also reduces to 4/7. So they are proportional because they all reduce to the same fraction. So when it says, is quadrilateral ABCD similar to quadrilateral JKLM, we can say yes. Actually, I'm going to switch colors because that's my side color. Yes. And to write this out, we'll say ABCD is similar to, so I'm going to use my little squiggle, JKLM. And we probably should write the word quadrilateral in front, right? I just kind of don't have a lot of room on my notes. Quadrilateral ABCD is similar to quadrilateral JKLM. Okay? The next super important thing that we're going to talk about is called scale factor. And the scale factor is the ratio. So again, remember that means fraction of the lengths of the corresponding sides. So when I've looked here, these are corresponding sides, and these are the fractions that go with them. So I can see my scale factor here looks like it's 4/7. But each picture you can kind of come up with, or each pair of similar figures, you can think of it as two different scale factors, because remember, order is important. When I say quadrilateral ABCD to quadrilateral JKLM, I know that means the numbers from ABCD have to go in the numerator, which look, that's what I did here. My ABCD numbers are all on top, so the scale factor from ABCD to KJ or JKLM is 4/7. But the second one, when it asks me what is the scale factor of JKLM to quadrilateral ABCD, that means this time the JKLM is going to go on top. So these numbers that had been on the bottom would switch to the top. So it's just going to be the reciprocal 7/4. And we leave it just like this because we want it to be a ratio, so we don't change it to a mixed number. I would never change this to 1 3/4. I'm going to leave it as 7/4. So again, we can read it as a ratio 7/4 or 4/7. Okay? All right, we're going to go ahead and pause this video here, and we'll continue in the next video. All right, thank you so much for watching.